This is the new Thypoch Simera 50mm f1.4, and this is the Leica 50mm Summilux f1.4 spherical. This thing comes in at somewhere in the $700-800 range. This thing comes in at about $4,800. So what's the difference, and why should you pay whatever $4,000 more for the Leica over this one? Now, this is a demo unit from Thypoch. I've had it for about 2 or so months now. I don't get to keep this one, but I believe they will be sending me a full production copy like I've kind of gotten with these other ones as well. But they are not paying for this. They aren't seeing this video before it's released, anything like that. But it is something that I will be adding to my collection of lenses, both to be able to compare against in the future and use all that kind of stuff. So like anything, just take that how you will. Now, it is actually pretty legitimately exciting for there to be another player in the game that is giving us fast, relatively compact lenses for the Leica M mount. If you are in this ecosystem of Leica lenses, you know that the Summilux lenses obviously are just ridiculously expensive. Amazing optics, amazing build quality, stuff I really, really love. But to be able to get some fast, relatively sharp, and pretty similar lenses overall in a small package. The only other thing recently that has been able to do that in a way that I've felt was on a really high level is Voigtlander. And now I feel like Thypoch is kind of in that like Voigtlander-y kind of range, which is pretty amazing considering they haven't been around for that long, at least in this space. So I have the 28mm, the 35mm, and now the 50mm. And they've made a few little upgrades on this that are a little bit different to note, at least. I think the first thing that people will notice is that on the 35 and the 28, you have kind of this old school focus lock where it'll go through and lock at infinity, and then you have to push this down to move it around. It's kind of like an old school thing. It's not something that is necessary for me, and it's something that myself and many other people have kind of told them, like, we'd kind of rather not have that. So they've built in a nice little focus tab here. So focusing this just feels a lot more like just focusing a regular Leica lens. Now, we also have this little depth of field scale here like the other ones. And then in terms of design, the other thing, other than the fact that these are all very, very similar in size and weight, when you focus the lens, the whole outer lens barrel stays the same, but the lens groupings all move really, really far in and out of this thing. They just completely disappear into the lens once you're focusing at infinity, and then move all the way up to the front when you're at minimum focus. I'm not really sure this matters that much. I'm not sure the downside, other than the fact that it just looks weird. And then the only thing that I could really think of that could be some sort of an issue would be that there's just nothing that's keeping dust and other things from getting inside there while this is moving in and out. So if they would have had some sort of outer element or something, that might not have been an issue. But I guess I would probably just recommend having some sort of UV filter or something small on the front here, just so that anything that gets in there, once you're focusing in and out like this, it's not going to fall back into the lens and get stuck there. Again, not sure if that would even be an issue, but it's something that I figured I would mention because it's definitely a very unique thing that I haven't really seen on other lenses before. Now, it is really lightweight. This is made of some sort of aluminum, I'm assuming, so significantly lighter than my 50 Summilux, which is made of brass. So it feels really good. You can see that with this grip, at least, it passes my Leica balance test, where the brass version of my Summilux definitely does not. It immediately falls straight over on the front. And if you've used any of their other lenses, it feels about the same. And it does feel really, really good on the lighter aluminum M11 as well. And obviously it's going to feel even lighter really on any of the brass Leica M bodies, because the discrepancy between the heft of the body, and then the lens is going to make it feel even more balanced. And while I would have loved to make a ton of images on my Leica M11, since this is a demo copy and it has some markings on the barrel, as they were probably just trying to like make sure that focus was correct and everything like that, it's not exactly calibrated perfectly to the rangefinder, but all of the other Thypoch lenses that I've ever had have been, so I don't think this is an issue at all. It's just because it's a demo lens and they probably just hadn't worked on that part of it yet. So my first little batches of this are going to be both on like the Nikon ZF. I definitely took some on the M11 for just test purposes, and then a bunch on the Hasselblad 907X as well. So let's jump in, check those out, and I will give you my final thoughts on this thing. You are in the market for a fast prime lens in the Leica system, you don't mind not having a Leica lens, or maybe there are focal lengths that you really like, that you really want to buy a Summilux for. Like, I get that. I own 50 Summilux, a 35 Summilux, and they just fit the system so well, and I'd worked so hard to get them that I'm still going to keep my Summiluxes. But if you're just getting into the system or want to expand your horizons into other things, I can't recommend these enough. I think that they are great little lenses. The build quality is good. The optics are good. And if you look at the differences in these examples between my 50 Summilux and this, I mean, it's pretty shocking how well it does. Maybe the thing is my Summilux here like actually moves in and out, and this does as well. But if you look at the differences, like, they're really similar, especially in terms of, honestly, like sharpness. The bokeh looks really similar. Chromatic aberration performance is really similar. And so it's really hard to recommend spending 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times more, I don't even know, to buy a Summilux when something like this is available. But I'm going to be honest, there's something a little bit irrational about having a Leica M. And if you have always wanted Summiluxes or something like that, I don't blame you for wanting to have one. But if you were thinking logically and unemotionally, then yeah, pick up these things. All of them have been really good so far, and the difference in performance is so incredibly minimal that if you weren't comparing them directly to the Summilux version, you wouldn't really be able to tell or notice what any of the difference is. So good on Thypoch for making really good lenses. I really hope that they continue down this line. If they can make like a 75, a fast 90, something like that as well in these, would be just really cool to continue to expand their lineup. So far, these 3 lenses have been fantastic, and all of them get a pretty big recommendation from me. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to watch my video on the 35, you can do so up here. Check out my video on the 28 so far up here, and I'll see you in one of those videos.